Hi, this is James Shug with Westpac London's end of day report for Monday, September the 10th. The main driver of sentiment today was Chinese economic data over the weekend. We saw a range of figures covering industrial production, retail sales, imports, exports and investment. I think pretty much every data release in China saw annual growth in those indicators at its lowest since the big economic downturn in late 2008. So that's had two impacts. Firstly, it's heightened concern that the Chinese economy has continued to lose momentum even beyond the slowdown that we've seen officially reported to date for the second quarter. But it also boosted prospects of stimulus by the Chinese authorities. So markets actually have not really known how to take that, and there's been little change in most of the major indices, certainly here in Europe and indeed in the US today. Other developments, we saw a sharp rise in investor confidence in Europe as reported by Centix, their survey over the weekend. In other words, subsequent to the European Central Bank's press conference on Thursday. It captured the improved mood in Europe after Mario Draghi unveiled his bond buying program, the outright market transactions program, outright monetary transactions program, sorry. But also in Greece, the coalition government there has failed to agree on budget cuts that it has to agree upon to receive the next tranche of payments as part of its bailout plan. So the Prime Minister's, I think, talking to the troika of ECB, IMF and EU officials about how to proceed from there. So Greek concerns have been a bit of a weight on markets today. That's about it in terms of economic news. We've got some consumer credit figures coming out in the US later on this evening. But as markets stand at the moment, the FTSE in London is unchanged today. We're talking about 4:20, so about half an hour of trading to go. The French market down 0.2%, the Germans unchanged today, the Spanish market's down 0.25%, and the Italian market off 0.2%. So compared to the very solid gains we saw last week, sometimes up to 5% a day, and some of the European markets just very mild losses or pretty much unchanged. And the Dow's unchanged in the US at the moment too. It's at 13,315. The commodity markets have shown a mix of prices actually. Oil prices, for example, are down 0.1%. I mean, pretty much unchanged, I suppose, $96.34 a barrel. But copper prices have continued to soar, looking at another 1.3% rise there. Gold prices down about 1/3% today at $1,734 an ounce. Look, copper prices have sort of bucked the trend. We've seen iron ore prices, for example, collapse, although a bit of a bottom seems to have even been found there, but copper prices have continued to do very well, and so firms involved in that business, that industry, have seen their share prices do well today, but not enough to lift the major indices substantially. Aussie dollar, it's at 1.0364 at the moment against the US dollar. It's been trading in a fairly tight range today. We've got the National Australia Bank's business survey, latest one of them, coming up Tuesday. But that's about it really. Look, markets are treading water basically ahead of the Fed decision on Thursday, where we think the Fed Chairman, Ben Bernanke, will unveil another round of quantitative easing. And we've also got the German Constitutional Court ruling on German participation in the European Stability Mechanism, the permanent bailout fund. That's due Wednesday morning at about, I think, 9 a.m. German time. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow.